All right, hello, welcome to our next video on statistical analysis using Microsoft Excel. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use Microsoft Excel to analyze data. Specifically, we're going to look at how to use the analysis tool pack that I showed you how to install in the last video. So in this video, we're going to cover these basic concepts, and you're going to learn how to use the analysis tool pack for analyzing data in Microsoft Excel. Let's take a look at this. So we're going to start by showing you here some data. We're looking at some gender and test score and anxiety. So this was a makeup study where we're looking at how anxiety is affected by taking a test. So how does anxiety affect test scores? Now, just so you know, the column off to the left-hand side is respondent. So in this particular study, there was 30 respondents who participated in this study. Gender is, of course, whether male or female. So a 1 represents a male, a 2 represents a female. An important thing to remember about Microsoft Excel is that it doesn't read words. It only can mainly analyze numbers. So when we input the data, we always use numbers, even if we're not specifically looking for numbers, but for example, sex or class, etc. The next column, C1 all the way down to C31, is the score. This is the score they got on the actual test. And then right here off to the next one is anxiety. This was the amount of anxiety the person experienced while taking the test. Now, this is something that I like to add. Many times I like to put my research questions right inside Microsoft Excel. And then as I get my answers, I just put them in the next column over, all the way down. So we're going to start by doing some basic things. Now, here's what we're going to do. You need to click on data. That's the first thing you do. And as I mentioned last time, off to the right hand side, you will see the data analysis. Click on this, please. And you have several different options within the data analysis. We are not going to look at a lot of these. We're going to look first at descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics tells you things like the mean, the average, the mode, the median, the maximum, the highest value, the lowest value, etc. That's what descriptive statistic does. And the answers that we get from the descriptive statistics will answer many of our research questions. Now, I forgot to talk about the different research questions, so I'm just going to go over some of these. Many studies don't have this many research questions. I just put these here as an example. So I have one here on how many men and women participated in the study. We'll answer that question later. What was the average score on the test? What was the average score for women on the test? What was the average score for men on the test? The median score on the test, the most common score, etc. All the way down to the median amount of anxiety, the most common amount of anxiety. What was the lowest amount of anxiety? The highest amount of anxiety? Is there a difference in the amount of anxiety between men and women? These are just many questions. Very few studies include all of these questions. But I put these here just so I can show you how you can answer these questions as you do your own analysis. Now, going back over here to the data analysis, we're highlighting, click on descriptive statistics, and we're going to click OK. The input range. The input range is the section of the Excel book that the computer is going to analyze for you. In order to figure that out, you click on this little red arrow right here, and you highlight what you want. So right now, we only want to know about anxiety and score. So we highlight this, go all the way down from C1 to C31, from D1 to D31. Click back, click back on this. Now, you want to click labels in the first row. Our first row is set aside for the name of that particular row. So scrolling back up here, the top row is going to be score, and the right here you can see score, and then the other row, D1, is anxiety. That is the label or the name for that particular row, and we want that to be a part of the output so we know what the numbers mean. Another thing you want to click on is output range. You have to tell the computer where you want the information to be. For simplicity's sake, we're going to have the information placed right here. Oh, sorry. We're going to have the information placed. Let me fix this real quick. Excuse me. I have to re-highlight this. I clicked on the wrong thing. So make sure you click on the little box here, then the red arrow. That way we can fix that. And so we're going to put our information in J1 right here. So when the table that Excel produces is made, it'll go right here in J1. Click back up here again. We also want to make sure we have the summary statistics. This is useful information for us. This other information is probably not going to be useful at this particular level of analysis. We don't need confidence levels for the mean. We don't need the K largest or the K smallest. After filling in this data as indicated, we click OK. And as you can see, we have some very useful information right over here. We have the scores. And so I'm just making the tables a little bit bigger for readability. Now we can start answering some questions. What was the average score on the test? If we look at score, because that's the test score, we can see the average score was 80.3. So our answer right here is going to be 80.3. This is how we answer our research question. What was the median score on the test? We're going to skip the difference for men and women for right now. The median score, again, the computer tells you the median was 81.5. We put 81.5 right here. Next, we have to look at the mode. In other words, the most common score. That's what the mode is. The most common score, you can look right here, is 88. So we take that information, we put it right here next to our research question. What was the lowest score on the test? How do we answer that? You look at the minimum. That's the lowest score. The lowest score was 63. The maximum score, the highest score, was 95. Again, this gives us our range for those of you who are more familiar with statistics. So you can see with with a few clicks of a button, I've already answered several of my research questions for this particular study. Again, the type of questions you are going to have depends on the type of questions you have. That's how it works. Continuing here, what was the average amount of anxiety? I look over here, 32.6. We put that right here in our little column. We're going to skip the men and women for right now. What was the median amount of anxiety? Remember, the median is the score exactly in the middle. You look right over here, it says 34. We could key in 34 right here. What was the most common amount of anxiety? Again, that has to do with the mode. And you look right over here, it's 40. So we're going to put 40 right here, done. What was the lowest amount? Again, the lowest and the highest. We look over here at the minimum and the maximum, 18 and 50. And so there you can see that the majority of our questions are already answered with just a few clicks. Now there's other information in here, things like standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis skew. These are things that we're not going to touch in this particular discussion, in this particular lecture, but these are also very important statistical information for other types of analysis. Very important, particularly standard deviation is really one of the hearts that we use within statistical analysis. The sum and the count are not that big of a deal. The sum is where they added up all the numbers 1 to 30, not a big deal. The count is how many participants in the study, 30. So this is all the basic information that we have for this particular analysis. In our next analysis, we're going to look at how to analyze and to look at differences between groups. So how do we count the number of men? How do we count the number of women? How can we tell if there's a difference between the test scores of men and the test scores of women and the anxiety of the different genders, etc. These are things that we're going to look at in the next video. So we're hoping that you stick around and that you'll be here for the next video. Thank you.